What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Awards Buzz podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, we're going to be breaking down the Oscar betting odds for Best Supporting Actor. In my opinion, and of course in Vegas's opinion, this is probably the most wide open race amongst all of the above the line categories. What is above the line? Your acting, your director, and your best picture and stuff like that. So it's quite interesting to see this race and how Vegas sees it currently, because our guy that's quote unquote favorite is still plus 300. And we'll dive more into that in just a few moments. First of all, if you missed my first episode of the Oscar betting odds, I have it up right now for Best Supporting Actors. It breaks down the odds for who is favorite, who you can make some money off of, and looking forward to seeing what those 5 potential nominees look like. Now, that being said, the Academy Awards will announce their nominees on January 17th, with voting kicking off on December 9th, and of course closing on December the 13th. There is a lot going on between now and then, whether it's Critics' Choice announcing their nominees, whether it's the Golden Globes starting to have their conversations, a lot of the critics groups starting to have those conversations. So a lot of award circle things are happening, and that means we can jockey for position, and these odds will shift as more nominees come out. So what better time than now to throw a little bit of money on these plays to see who could potentially win you some money in Vegas. I mean, like last year, if you were gun-ho about Amy Adams, about Emma Stone winning for Poor Things, she was plus money even up to the night on Oscars night where we saw her take home the Academy Award. She was plus 125. Now, without further ado, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Best Supporting Actor race. And what I've done, if you missed the first episode and you're back for this, and you're in this one for the first episode, first off, I greatly appreciate it. But let's go ahead and break down the betting odds calculator for you guys real quick, okay? So when you're looking at the betting odd calculator, if you see plus money, plus 100, and you're betting $10, you're going to double your money. You bet 10 here, to win 10, your payout's $20. So you bet $10, you won $10 if the bet clears, right? And then, of course, if it goes to 450, you're looking at your bet 40. You bet $10, you won 45. Your payout's $55, right? So, but if you look at minus means favorite, right? There is a couple of favorites in several different categories. So if it's like minus 125, if you bet $10, you'll win $8, right? So you're still winning money off of your bet. But when it gets higher, you're starting to win less and less money, right? You bet $10, you only win $4. You know what I mean? So when those odds start to go higher and higher, that means Vegas has them heavily favored in what they are looking at. So because of that, what I have done is I have gone over to bovado.lv and grabbed the Oscar picks for Best Supporting Actor. Now, one thing I do find funny here is for some reason they have Conor McGregor on this list. I could not stop laughing whenever I saw that. I'm not taking that serious. However, what I am going to take serious is these top dogs. Now, reminder here, last week when we saw the Best Supporting Actors race, we had 2 plus 140, plus 160 individuals. That means they're a little bit more favorite than our plus 450s, right? So with this one, our starting talent here, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist at plus 300. Plus 300 is very, very high. And if we go back to our calculator here, it means if you bet $10 right now on Guy Pearce to win the Academy Award, you're going to win $30. So if you are in that camp right now that believe this man is walking away with the Academy Award, this is the time to bet on him. Because if Guy Pearce starts winning the New York Film Festival, Film Critics Association, LA, Critics' Choice starts looking at him in favor, these odds will start to slowly dwindle down. Last year, when you came into the Academy Awards, like Christopher Nolan was minus 2,000 to win. So if you bet $10, you win 50 cents. That's how this can shift throughout the entirety of the season. When people start winning, you got the Globes that are going to be announced, the winners, Critics' Choice, and all the other critics groups that kind of they don't influence Vegas, but they start to shift and gain momentum in so many different areas. So right now, Guy Pearce from The Brutalist is the quote unquote front runner, but not by much. You have Clarence Macklin for Sing Sing, who initially seemed like he was even a lock to be in the conversation. And then the Sing Sing kind of love kind of dwindled away, but now it's back again. We're starting to see A24 push the film as they're starting to realize that this could be a heavy hitter and it could be more than just a Coleman Domingo play. We're talking about Coleman Domingo. We're talking about Clarence Macklin. We're talking about maybe a screenplay conversation. So there's definitely something to be had here in this that Macklin is starting to take form that be in that 5. Now, if we look at this right now, there's no solid 5. You could look at the potential of several different guys, but then of course there's nobody like if you look at you had solid, like I'm confident Zoe and Danielle are getting nominated. Everybody else is kind of a crapshoot. Now, do we have confidence in some of the other people that are on the list? Absolutely. But that being said, Denzel Washington for Gladiator 2, he's an Academy Award prestigious guy. People love Denzel Washington. And what's not to love about Denzel Washington, right? He's fantastic in Gladiator. But then, of course, on the flip side of that, he's been nominated, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times from the Academy, winning 2 Oscars already, right? So he is going to, and just as recent of 2022, where he got nominated for his performance in The Tragedy of Macbeth. So the Academy loves them some Denzel Washington, rightfully so, with some fantastic nominations, and of course, of some fantastic wins up in there. So that being said, Denzel to me is one of the most surest locks to be nominated. Winning, I see it, right? And the reason I do is because this category doesn't feel super, super strong, right? I do think that there's some heavy hitters here. I do think after Kieran Culkin, the category does diminish a little bit, especially with, in my opinion, I would say performance-wise. I haven't seen The Brutalist, but I have seen the rest of the films on this list. And to me, Denzel seems to have, I think, the second best performance of this group. And there's one person I'll talk about who I think you can make a little bit of money on in just a second here. But Denzel seems to have the momentum. He has the factor of he's Denzel Washington. He could be a 3-time winner. There's so many different factors here that I like Denzel and throwing a little bit of money on him. Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, one of my favorite films of the year and one of my favorite performances of the year. Culkin is fantastic in A Real Pain. Him and Eisenberg really share some electric chemistry that really highlights in such a soft, funny, and warm and a gut-punching film all wrapped up in one. And Culkin, to me, if you're looking for a sleeper, it's Culkin. I do think that he has every opportunity to take home the Academy Award. I don't mind sprinkling a little bit of money on him, but we'll talk about that in just a second. All right. Samuel Jackson for The Piano Lesson. I get it, but I don't. I don't understand why his odds are so low. And to me, the same for Jeremy Strong and The Apprentice. That's a film that we've seen some controversy around. Obviously, the film is about Donald Trump, and there's one or two ways you're going to look at this. People are going to either nominate the film in spite of Trump, or they're going to completely shun the film because of Trump, right? So there's going to be a mixed bag there. I don't think Strong gets nominated. I don't foresee Samuel Jackson getting nominated either. Now, what does that mean for the rest of the crew, right? You have Yuri Borsov for Anora, and that's a film that a lot of people love, and a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are pushing for him to get that nomination. So in a category where I think maybe you're 4 strong, and that 5th one is like, maybe I think Yuri Borsov and Stanley Tucci are battling for the 5th slot. Not Samuel Jackson, not Jeremy Strong. I think those two at plus 750 and plus 800 are jockeying for position. I don't think anyone I don't think Clares Diaz, Joe Alwyn, Josh O'Connor, or Mike Fast, who are plus 1200, plus 1200, plus 2200, are even in the conversation to win. And that's what we're talking about here is who's going to win. So for me, on the outside looking in, you have a battle for that fifth slot between Yura Borsov and Stanley Tucci. And because of that, you see Conclave, a lot of people love it. A lot of people love Conclave. And I'm like, you know what? Can that momentum carry into multiple nominations in different categories? And that's the same thing for Anora. Anora's in the same boat. Is the film strong enough to bring in a couple extra nominations that might not be particularly warranted even, but you're going to get in because of the love of that film, and people start looking at their ballot and like, man, I really like the Nora. I like the Nora here, 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 and here. And that turns into more and more nominations. So Yura Borsov, Stanley Tucci, Conclave, those are going to be your final, my opinion, rounding out the five. I think the five right now are rounding out who's going to be battling for that fifth slot. So that being said, folks, a quick roundup. Here are your odds for best supporting actor and who I think you might potentially make a little bit of money off of. You have Guy Pearce for The Brutals at plus 300, Clarence Macklin, Sing Sing plus 400, Denzel Washington for Gladiator 2 at plus 400, Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain at plus 550, Samuel Jackson plus 550 for The Piano Lesson, Jeremy Strong plus 650 for The Apprentice, Yura Borsov or Nora for plus 750, and then Stanley Tucci plus 800 for Conclave. Now, where can you make some money? In my opinion, you can throw a little bit of money on Denzel Washington, right? Because again, $10 we're going to bet on Denzel to win. We're going to win 40 bucks, okay? But you don't sprinkle. You sprinkle here, you sprinkle there. For me, Kieran Culkin at plus 550, very, very sexy. Okay, I like that a lot. However, I will say this. The amount of love that Anora is getting, could we see a shocking turn of events for Yura Borsov to take home the Academy Award for Anora? I think it's possible. Okay, if we're going to look at it real quick, we're going to throw, let's just say, plus 750. We're going to throw $5 on him, right? You're going to win 37.50. You're taking home your 42.50. Okay, it's worth a shot to sprinkle on specific people that you think could turn the tide over the next couple months. It's plus 750 now. Could it be plus 350? Could it be plus 250? Could it be plus 125 in a couple months? It's every possibility in the world. So Denzel Washington plus 400, Kieran Culkin plus 550, and a little sprinkle on Yura Borsov. Folks, that is it for this episode of the Awards Bud podcast. Thank you guys for the continued support and tuning in. We'll be back talking about the Best Actor and Best Actress race in the very near future.